The following story is based on real-life criminal cases. Some names, details, and events have been altered for privacy and dramatic purposes. While every effort has been made to ensure accuracy, certain information may not be factually verified. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Some of these cases remain unsolved to this day.
Of Ariel Spillner, a night of celebration that turned into a tragedy. Good day, everyone, and welcome back to Murder Mysteris, the channel where we dive deep into America's most shocking criminal cases, uncovering the stories that leave entire communities searching for answers. Today, we are examining a case that has stunned not just Milwaukee, but the entire state of Wisconsin. The fatal shooting of 26-year-old pharmacy student Ariel Spillner, a woman whose bright future was cut short in what police describe as a night of confusion, paranoia, and irreversible violence. Before we continue, please do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us continue to bring you in-depth coverage of tragic and complex cases just like this one. Now, this case is one of those stories that forces us to look closely at the fine line between friendship, trust, and tragedy. According to investigators, Ariel Spillner was not out at a bar, nor in a dangerous neighborhood. She was not even in an argument with a stranger. Instead, she was spending the evening with friends, people she knew and trusted, to celebrate a birthday. But before the night was over, that celebration became a crime scene. And the person accused of taking Ariel's life was someone she once called a close friend, 32-year-old Jamica Simone Mills. It all happened on a quiet Saturday night in Milwaukee, when police received a frantic call reporting gunfire at a home near the 2100 block of North 37th Street. When officers arrived, they discovered Ariel Spillner suffering from a gunshot wound. She was rushed to the hospital, but despite the efforts of medical staff, she was later pronounced dead. Inside the same residence, authorities also found another woman, Jamica Mills, who had suffered a self-inflicted gunshot wound to her leg. What had happened inside that home in the minutes before the shots rang out has now become the focus of a criminal case that raises difficult questions about drugs, paranoia, and responsibility. According to the criminal complaint, witnesses at the scene described what was supposed to be a lighthearted evening. A small group of friends had gathered to celebrate a birthday, enjoy food, and relax. It was a casual night, one that should have ended with laughter, stories, and plans for the future. Ariel, known for her intelligence and kindness, had been studying to become a pharmacist. She was admired by those around her for her dedication to her education and her compassion for others. She had no known enemies, no history of violence, and no reason to believe her life was in danger. But investigators say that as the night went on, things began to take an unexpected turn. Mills, who was among those at the gathering, reportedly began acting paranoid after smoking marijuana. Witnesses claim she seemed anxious, confused, and increasingly unsettled. One moment she was calm. The next, she seemed convinced that something bad was about to happen. The complaint states that Mills suddenly retrieved a firearm, despite others in the room urging her to put it down. Moments later, the gun went off, striking Ariel. When police questioned Mills after her arrest, she allegedly told investigators that she did not intend to hurt her friend. She claimed that after smoking weed, she began to feel paranoid, as though people in the room were plotting against her. She reportedly grabbed her gun to protect herself, but things spiraled out of control. She said she never meant to pull the trigger. But by the time she realized what had happened, Ariel was lying on the floor, fatally wounded. Mills then apparently turned the gun on herself, firing a shot into her own leg. Prosecutors have charged Jamica Simone Mills with first-degree reckless homicide, a serious felony in the state of Wisconsin that carries the potential for life imprisonment. During her initial court appearance, the judge set her bond at $150,000, emphasizing the gravity of the charges and the devastating outcome of her actions. Law enforcement officials say that while Mills's story of paranoia might explain her state of mind, it does not excuse the fatal decision to handle a firearm under the influence of drugs. Milwaukee County District Attorney's Office spokesperson stated that gun ownership comes with immense responsibility, and that under the law, reckless behavior that leads to the loss of life must be treated with the utmost seriousness. As news of Ariel Spillner's death spread, shockwaves rippled through her hometown and her university community. Friends and classmates remembered her as a kind-hearted, driven student who had dedicated herself to helping others. Her professors described her as the type of student every teacher hopes to have, someone who is respectful, intelligent, and motivated. Family members expressed heartbreak and disbelief, saying Ariel had a bright future ahead of her and that her death was a senseless tragedy that should never have happened. A close family friend told local media outlets that Ariel had a passion for healthcare and was determined to make a difference in people's lives. She often volunteered at local clinics and worked hard to balance her studies with community service. Those who knew her best say she was the kind of person who saw the best in everyone, including those she called friends. And that is what makes this story even more painful. The idea that someone she trusted so deeply could be the one to take her life. In the days following the shooting, Milwaukee police continued to piece together the timeline of events. Investigators collected physical evidence from the scene, including the firearm used in the shooting, shell casings, and drug paraphernalia. Toxicology results are expected to play a major role in determining how impaired Mills might have been at the time of the shooting. While marijuana is often viewed as a less dangerous substance compared to other drugs, law enforcement officials have noted that in rare cases, it can trigger acute paranoia or hallucinations, especially in individuals who are inexperienced or who consume high-potency strains. However, prosecutors maintain that regardless of the substance used, the decision to pick up a gun while under the influence was reckless and avoidable. According to the complaint, there was no physical altercation, no provocation, and no immediate danger that justified Mills's decision to arm herself. Witnesses said that Ariel had been standing only a few feet away when the gun discharged, a single bullet that ended her life in an instant. Mills's attorney has since filed a plea of not guilty, arguing that the shooting was accidental and that Mills's mental state at the time was severely compromised. The defense has also suggested that Mills may have been experiencing a panic attack or drug-induced psychosis, conditions that can distort perception and cause irrational fear. The prosecution, on the other hand, insists that the evidence points to reckless disregard for human life, a decision made under the influence, but a decision nonetheless.